So today we're going to do a pointing lesson. I'm going to teach you how to point an old stone wall interior just using traditional sand and lime and get a really good finish where the stone's still exposed, and we'll go through the whole process, but first is a prep. So the aim with a prep is to get all the old plaster off, rake between the joints. Don't take too much out, but just take enough out so you can get a good bed of mortar in there. And then we're ready to wet it down and start the mix. So the mix that I found works best is a 4-to-1, so 4 shovels or 4 buckets of soft sand to 1 lime. Now I like to use the softest sand I can. I use a white sand because that affects the ultimate colour that I want, and I prefer it more white. You can of course use yellow sand, but a 4-to-1 mix is what I feel works best. It means it doesn't crumble off when you kind of finish a wall. When you touch it, it doesn't crumble. It's nice and brittle still, but still lets the building breathe. Now consistency is like quite a big deal, so you don't want it too dry so that it doesn't adhere to the mortar behind. You don't want it too wet so it slops out. You just want to kind of get it fluffy and sticky, if that makes like any sense. Now at this point, don't worry too much about getting it neat. You want to just get the stuff in the joints. It's a long process and certain things have got to be done at certain time stages when it's dry enough. For now, we're just pushing it right into the joints. Try avoid the stone faces, especially the ones you want to keep, because lime can stain it and it's a bit of a pain to get off. So just work through the joints layer by layer. So that's all the mix in there. Now, don't get too ambitious on the area you want to do. I'd say like 1.5 meters squared a day is about what you should be aiming for, because then later you've got to have time to brush it off and you don't want to overwhelm yourself. So that's there. Now it's just a waiting game. I've said before, patience is not my virtue, but it really, really matters with this. Just another half an hour and ready for the first brush off. Ooh, it's tempting. Okay, that's like just ready. So we're going to do the first brush off, which is getting all the loose stuff out and all these kind of gnarly bits, and then we've got to wait again and do the final brush off with a wire brush. It's coming together. So look, it's getting like neater and neater with each process. So this is just the rendering that I did while I was waiting for it to dry, but that's one brush off, and I've just re-smoothed out all the joints. We've still got one more final brush, which is, instead of the bristle brush, you take a really fine wire brush, and all we're doing really now is cleaning off the faces of the stone. Not really touching the mortar lines, just making sure the faces are nice and clear, and when it dries they just pop. So it just takes a bit of time and patience, but just go over every stone and make sure it's nice and clean. Okay. Final step is just get all the little bits that are resting on the ledges of the stones, just like a soft house brush or something. And it's done. Easy. Not only have we made the wall like prettier and, you know, looks better, but the whole wall's more stable because you're taking out that crumbly joint stuff, which most of the time is just mud, and you put a nice mortar in, so all the stones are rebedded back in. I just love this sort of look. So the only reason I've rendered it is because kind of this bit in the bottom was mainly full of concrete and it just wouldn't have pointed up nicely. But yeah, I've got the top bit still to do. I need to get my scaffolding down and I'll chip that off and work away the same. But yeah, hopefully this has been kind of helpful for anyone that's wanting to do this stuff, or I know most of you don't want to do this stuff. Hopefully it's been interesting anyway. I'll see you tomorrow.